Greetings and salutations all, I.S. Anderson here once again today, and today I have another Mythology Time video for you. And sorry, I know it's April 1st and everybody's expecting an April Fool's joke, but I don't have any. I've never really been into April Fool's Day myself, never really played any jokes on anybody. But today, it's Mythology Time again, and today we're going to get into Japanese mythology. Yes. I'm going to tell you the origin story of how Japan came about and how its deities came about. So without further ado, here's the origin of Japan. When heaven and earth began, three deities came into being: the spirit master of the center of heaven, the august wondrously producing spirit, and the divine wondrously producing ancestor. These three were invisible. The earth was young then, and land floated like oil, and from it reeds shoots sprouted. From these reeds came two more deities. After them, 5 or 6 pairs of deities came into being, and the last of these were Izanagi and Izanami, whose names mean the male who invites and the female who invites. So just to be clear, the man's name was Izanagi and the woman's name was Izanami. Okay? And, come to think of it, that is kind of a strange name for the two of them, considering neither one of them became party planners. The first 5 deities commanded Izanagi and Izanami to make and solidify the land of Japan, and they gave the young pair a jeweled spear. Standing on the floating bridge of heaven, they dipped in the ocean brine and stirred. They pulled out the spear, and the brine that dripped from it all formed the island to which they descended. Izanami examined her body and found that one place had not grown, and she told this to Izanagi, who replied that his body was well formed, but that one place had outgrown to excess. He proposed that he places his excess in her place that was not complete, and then, in doing so, they would make a new land. Wow, it's a lot easier to get laid back then. They created a leech child, which they put in a basket and let float away. They tried to procreate again, and they produced a floating isle, which they did not claim either. Yeah, so when that happened, they actually went back to the older deities and told them what was going on, and explained said that they were failing. And the older deities explained to them that they were failing because Izanami was speaking before Izanagi, before their, sexual encounters. Yes, when they first did that, Izanami said to him, what a handsome young man he is, and Izanagi in turn said what a beautiful young lady she was. And so the elder deities told them, well, you gotta let him speak first and then her, and then everything would be fine after that. Not my rules, people. Izanami gave birth to the 8 main islands of Japan and 6 minor islands. Then they gave birth to a variety of deities to inhabit those islands, including the sea deity, the deity of the sea traits, and the deities of the rivers, winds, trees, and mountains. Last, Izanami gave birth to the fire deity, and her genitals were so burned that she died. Childbirth was pretty dangerous back then, even for a goddess. Izanagi longed for Izanami, and he went to the underworld in search for her. Finding her in the darkness, he called to her and asked her to come back to the land of the living with him. She promised him that she would go ask the gods of the underworld, but she begged him not to look at her as she did so. She was gone long, however, and eventually he broke off the end of the comb in his hair and set it afire for light. He found her body with maggots consuming it, and these maggots were the 8 deities of thunder. Ashamed to be seen in this condition, Izanami chased Izanagi out of the underworld. First she sent the thunder deities after him, and then she herself pursued him. At last he grasped a huge rock and used it to close off the passage to the underworld. Enraged, she shouted to him that she would each day strangle 1,000 people of Japan. He responded that if she did so, he would each day cause 1,500 Japanese to be born. Divorce was a lot messier too. Izanagi cleansed himself to get rid of the experience. Several other gods were born from this. He then began to weep for his loss. He begot Amaterasu, the sun goddess, from his left eye, Tsukuyomi, the moon god, from his right eye, and Susanoo, tempest of the storm god, from his nose. I don't know, seems like he's doing a pretty good job producing deities just on his own. Amaterasu gave birth to a man who would eventually become the ancestor of the imperial family of Japan. All the deities born from Izanagi calm the land to be ruled by man. And that was the story of the origins of Japan. So please leave any comments below. I'll also leave my pertinent contact information in the abyss. And remember, if you do have any ideas of what you would like to learn about in Mythology Time, please let me know below in the comments, or use the contact information that I put there. Please comment, rate, subscribe. You know the drill. And until next time, this is I.S. Anderson telling everybody, make your lives grand. Thank you very much. Have a good day. And remember, kids, always let the man talk first before sex. Otherwise, your kids will be born weird.